we have a Doctor Doom uses Kang to trick the Avengers in Avengers Doomsday. I don't know if Kang would be in it, but they might mention him because of all the drama that went on with Kang. I don't think they want to add him onto the MCU yet, but I'd like to see him because he's like one of the most powerful villains out there, so let's check it out.
People really want Kang's story to finish in the MCU. Well, a lot of people really want Kang to still be the main big bad, but hey, we have Doctor Doom now. But people are wondering now, well, what happens to Kang? What happens to his story that Marvel Studios was setting up? Will he just go away and Marvel never mention him ever again? Maybe telling us that the TVA took care of Kang, much like they showed us at the end of Loki Season 2. But for somebody who was supposed to be such a big threat, simply saying the TVA took care of him when he was the one who started the TVA doesn't really work for some fans, myself included. A lot of people think we need some type of closure with the Kang story, and I think Marvel is going to give it to us, and I think it's going to kind of come in the form of Ant-Man. We just heard a report from Daniel RPK that Paul Rudd is reportedly going to have a very important role in Avengers Doomsday, and this seemingly lines up with what Marvel Studios just showed us at Destination D23, a big Disney event that took place over the weekend, during which Marvel showed us kind of a sizzle reel montage of clips from previous Marvel movies, previous X-Men films, and the Fantastic Four. But the Russo brothers, who are directing Avengers Endgame and Secret Wars, came out and delivered a message with Paul Rudd. So much like he did in Avengers Endgame, he might have a really big role to play in Avengers Doomsday. And I think it might have to do with Kang, and I think this is actually the reason why people might trust Doctor Doom in the beginning of the film. We've already heard reports that Doctor Doom is going to manipulate pretty much everybody, which is something we expected, and he's going to do this with his face. Robert Downey Jr. is returning to play Doctor Doom for a very specific reason, and him looking like Tony does tie into the end of Avengers Endgame, so say the Russo brothers. So the fact that he looks like Tony is probably how he's going to manipulate people. But another way I think he does this is by stating that Kang is the real villain. And the crazy thing here is, if the reports that we've been hearing are true, Doom actually thinks this. He thinks Kang is the real villain of the multiverse, in which, yeah, he was. But now Doom is supposed to be that threat, so it would make sense to tie Kang into Doom's story a little bit. Now, I don't think this is going to go on for very long in the movie, because quite frankly, Marvel probably doesn't want to focus on Kang at all, but they probably, at least I hope, realize that they need to bring Kang's story to an end for all of the casual audience members who saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and specifically saw the post-credit scene for it. Good storytelling wouldn't ignore it. In fact, they could use it to amplify Doom's story, which is where I think Scott Lang comes in. He is the only one on our Earth who has come in contact with a Kang variant. And remember the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. They basically set it up to where he unleashed Kang the Conqueror in a way. And we've heard reports about a very specific scene that is going to happen in Avengers Doomsday where Ant-Man should bring this up. Previous insider reports tell us that Shuri is going to be the one who originally discovers the threat of an incursion to their Earth, and then she goes and tells the rest of the heroes of the world. And this makes a lot of sense considering the fact that Wakanda is the most technologically advanced place on the planet. Plus, not to mention the Thunderbolts in the post-credit scene, they did mention something about a space crisis. Clearly something is happening in space, which would cause Wakanda and the Thunderbolts and probably the other Avengers under Sam Wilson to monitor what is happening. Plus, not to mention Captain Marvel and Thor. Captain Marvel knows that Monica is in another universe, so she knows about the multiverse essentially.
She's in the X-Men
Thor
universe.
is also said to be told about the incursion by his now adopted daughter, Love, who is reportedly kind of tapped into the universe because she is essentially almost the offspring of eternity. She has some of eternity's powers in her. So clearly the Avengers and all the heroes of the world are going to get together and talk about what is about to happen, an incursion. And this is where Scott Lang could say what he learned about the multiverse, specifically about this big evil villain Kang, who wants to rule the entire multiverse and who has actually destroyed many universes in the past. And it would be nice if he did indeed try to warn them about the guy who said that he's killed many Avengers so much that they all blur together. But this movie isn't about Kang. Well, not anymore. It's about Doom now. So enter Doom in the 616 universe, where we believe that he will use the fact that he looks like Tony Stark to manipulate the Earth's heroes. He will say that the multiverse is indeed in danger, where Ant-Man would mention Kang, where Doom would go, yeah, Kang or Kangs were the big threat to the multiverse, but I defeated them. To establish Doom as the true big bad, Marvel should say that he is the one who defeated all the Kangs, especially if they're not going to really touch that story at all. You need to get rid of them. And Doom needs to be the one to do it. All you gotta do is show Doom destroying a Coliseum, which all the other Kangs were at. You don't even have to show any faces. You could simply show Doom walking into a giant Coliseum. The people's faces are blurry because he's so far away, and you just show him unleashing a giant green energy blast. Then from there, he has Kang's technology, which would make him even more powerful. And the reports that we've heard before are that Dr. Doom really hates Kang and what he did secluding the sacred timeline and creating the TVA. We even heard from Alex Perez at the Cosmic Circus that there was an original 616 timeline that did have the X-Men and it did have the Fantastic Four along with the Avengers, but Kang took them out some way, shape, or form. And reportedly, Dr. Doom knows this as well and is pretty pissed off that Kang tampered with everything. So I think this is a good way that they could conclude Kang's story, but then also lead to Loki, who I also think Dr. Doom is going to say is the villain. He's going to say that Loki took over
Loki knows everything as well.
And he took over the TVA when all of the Kangs were eliminated. And if you think about it, most of the Avengers do view Loki as a villain, especially if it is a variant. Sure, Thor could tell them, no, Loki turned good at the end. He was with me. He was with Asgard. He sacrificed himself kind of ish to try and kill Thanos. I mean, he tried to kill him, but Thanos was too powerful for him and he killed him, but he did still sacrifice his life. But this is a variant. They know that their version of Loki is dead, and most versions of Loki are probably bad. And since they have realized that the multiverse is in jeopardy and their specific Earth is about to have an incursion, Doom coming in and confirming to Scott Lang that he did indeed fight a Kang the Conqueror and got rid of all of them would make them all trust Doom.
Well, if that does happen and they get rid of Kang altogether, that would be a bit disappointing because, you know, Ant-Man Quantumania, they gave him all the variants of Kang, and then Loki had a variant as well, so yeah, it's a bit confusing that they're might get rid of his character, but Doom tricking them is a bit that's Doom there. But anyhow, we'll just gotta see when the movie comes out, and that's next. Is it November or December? I don't know. It got delayed, so don't know. But it's before. It's after Spider-Man. So I don't know. We've got to see.